Okay, this video should be a fun one. Well, informative for you, kind of therapeutic for me, maybe. I made a ton of mistakes at the start in Sorare, and I figured I need to put these together, put them out there, so that you can learn from them, and then maybe I can like put them to rest and move forward. And so let's do this together. But before I go, I just want to show you this. So I just created and launched this Sorare Beginners Masterclass. I spent all over the holiday period over December building it. There's over 5 hours of content. There's like 30 something different videos. There's downloads. There's quizzes. There's spreadsheets you can go through. It really takes you from like figuring out what your goals are to like all the nuts and bolts behind Sorare, how everything works, and then actually getting deeper, like beyond beginner and into kind of novice, like actually building a strategy and a roadmap and how you actually use advanced stats and things like that to make smart decisions and, you know, make incremental moves and grow your roster, grow your portfolio. So I'm super proud of it. Go check it out. The link's below. If you want to sign up, that'd be amazing. I think it's like priced smartly. I kind of go into how I priced it and whatnot. So anyways, have a look for yourself, but let's get into these mistakes I made. And they can help you probably immediately. So first of all, this is my page here, but the first one for me is that I spent all my budget. I had around 25K that I wanted to put into this thing. And I just went all in like in the first 3 weeks. And I wish I'd carved out 5, maybe 10K of that and saved it for like this inevitable stretch. This is reflective of the market. The market had a big spike when I joined. It's quite a famous moment in time in Sorare's history. And then it kind of came crashing down to earth. But then not only that is that there's also like my learning curve was that as well. Like it kind of matched that, like super excited, got in, and then all of a sudden made like a bunch of mistakes, didn't really know what I was doing. I was kind of all over the place in my cards I bought and sold and stuff. So I wish I actually had a float of money to just like hang on to, learn some lessons for the first month or two, and then start buying some more cards. Don't feel you have to buy all your cards right at the start. Unless you're operating with just a really, really tiny budget, then maybe you have to spend it all. But if you have a little bit more to go, yeah, kind of sit. Don't worry that you're going to miss out on some chance. As you can see, there are peaks and valleys all throughout every single month. So that's a key one for me. The next one for me was like I took a real scatter approach. Like if you look at my rare cards, all the different leagues that I'm in, this is indicative of how I started out. I bought cards from all over the place. I had some J League cards and South America and stuff like that. And I really wished I'd honed in on 1 or 2 leagues and just gotten to know those ones. Maybe bought some bundles, which I did, but I did that on top of all this stuff. And I really think you'd be wise to just focus on, a few leagues and try and get to know them, and then broaden out from there. The next one for me, I kind of was, I dipped in and out of it on this, and now I'm doing it so much more, and that's playing in the common tournament. I sort of wrote it off as just like a practice thing, and I did it a few times and then moved on. But really, it's such a great factory for me in terms of churning out some common keepers that I can use in that Ethereum based lineup for Global All-Star. So like, as you can see now, I have 13 common keepers just because I keep putting in lineups in that common tournament. That means that like across these 13, pretty much every game week throughout the year, I have somebody that I can plug in for that Ethereum team. And that gives me peace of mind. And that gives me like real earnings virtually every single week of the year. So this is something that I for some reason fell off of early on, and I wish I had done it right from the start. So highly recommend that. And in a similar vein, bonuses and training and understanding, this number here, I plugged a lot of players into the bonus, into their training lineups, even when they don't have games and things like that. Because I mean, look at some of these. I've only been in the system for 10 months or so. And, I've got like Demeral's only, I think he's 23, 24 now, 11.5% bonus. I've got other guys that are in the 11%, and I haven't even played them necessarily in game week lineups all the time. Some of them still kind of come off the bench and things like that, but I at least get them into training lineups. And remember the way the scoring works in terms of calculating that XP, a part of the XP that somebody earns is based on the other cards that of the lineup they're in. So it's important, like even if somebody doesn't have a game that week, if he didn't have a game this week, but at least I put him into a lineup with players with cards that do have games, then he's actually getting like a piece of that that's helping his XP. So that's a big one for me. It's been super helpful. There's another one here where I have a keeper, Farman, who he's with Schalke and they got demoted. So I can't even use him this season at all, but I've still built him up to 11%. So if they get promoted again, or if he moves on to another club in the summer, this is a great card for me to have and to continue to play into next season. He's still fairly young. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. Next one for me is just around oftentimes I fell into that eBay kind of mentality of just like, you get sucked into an auction, you're just bidding and bidding, you really want the card and you want to go for it, and not realizing that I need to understand how much are cards selling for that same card in the marketplace. So Sorare data, this page is such a great companion for when you are shopping on the auction, because you can quite literally see, like right now, this card is going for auction at a higher price than what the best market price is right now. So you'd be silly to go and up this bid when you could just go and buy that card outright. There are a ton that are like that. It happens all the time, believe me. And, even if it's not, like even if they're closer, it's a bit lower, you might see that actually, well, if I make one more bid, it actually will it'll equal or go above this price. So I might as well go and try and get a deal on the marketplace. And to that point, oftentimes when people are selling cards, like they'll give you a 10% discount if you make an offer, 10, maybe even 15%. So even this best market price, I mean, it's possible you get it for a little bit less. So don't just rely on the auction as the kind of be all end all to do your shopping where you think you'll get the best deals. Sometimes you actually pay more. And I certainly did on a few of them. Along those lines, also kind of understand price history as well. And that's also where Sorare data helps. So, Grimaldo here is a good example. So again, he's a little underpriced to what his best market price is. He's a little overpriced in the auction compared to his 3-day average. So that's kind of important, but let's actually go here and see, okay, he has been on the rise. So do you want to buy in? I mean, this is right at the top, 310. So do you want to pay 332? So you're paying, say, 10% more than that. You'll be sort of the high water mark if you make that purchase right now. Versus now, maybe he's going to continue to rise or something like that. You have to go and do your research on them. But I never like to be the high water mark. I never want to set the new bar for pricing. It's possible that you could go and work a deal or make an offer for someone else that has bought a card earlier on or something like that. So that's a big one for me. Understanding Ethereum, where the price is at. So Ethereum has kind of crashed of late, and that impacts prices significantly. And what you see on Sorare, it's helpful to bring in instances like this where it's being very volatile. It's important to move the price back to one of the other fiat currencies, because then you get kind of a better read of that sort of independent of, as we see, this is a lot flatter. And if anything, maybe his price is actually lowered a little bit, and it might be a nice time to get in. So that's a good example where, the volatility of Ethereum really makes things difficult. It kind of messes with your head a bit. And also, if you're selling a card, really keep an eye on where Ethereum's at, because you may have set a price literally yesterday and put it out on market, and then Ethereum can crash like 14% in a day, and so you need to probably pull that card off the market, reprice it accordingly. So that's something that I didn't pay enough attention to. This one is a big one for me. So let's see if we get. So, I did the smart thing. I was looking for a player in here. We're going to try and find, I was looking for a Major League Soccer striker. I needed to fulfill a lineup. And so I did some hunting, and I was kind of looking for someone relatively cheap. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. And I found Yuya Kubo, I believe. And let's see if he shows up here. And he's good. He's a solid performer, not a superstar by any stretch. And there he is. And yeah, he's a forward, 28, prime of his career. Price seemed okay. I'm going for it. So then I went into Sorare, I went and searched for Yu Kubo, and sure enough, here he is. And there's all sorts of cards here and some really nice ones. So I started to hunt around. I thought, okay, I'll just get the cheapest one. I'm fine with that. So, look at this one, 0.079. I mean, this is in real time, but like this is literally exactly what happened back in the spring. And so went, hit buy, was very happy with myself, and then went to plug him into lineups, realized, oh shoot, he's a midfielder. This card is a mid, and he's a forward in the 2021 card. In fact, he's kind of flip-flopped. Like he was in 2019, he was a forward. 2020, he became a mid, and then 2021, he was a forward. So that was a big mess for me. I kind of lost money there because then I had to try and sell him and I did at a discount because I still needed a forward. To make matters worse, I actually made this mistake again. I made it like 2 months ago, and you can see it here. I bought this guy needing forward, and like, look at this. The cards are literally 29 cards different. It's the same picture. It's not a different season or anything. And yet one's a mid and one's a forward. So I made this purchase. I was all happy with myself, then realized I grabbed the wrong one. And then I had to go back and buy this one. So I'll probably sell this one at some stage. But seriously, that happens a lot. Well, or it just happens to me a lot. I don't know. But keep an eye on the actual position, because it does change on like card to card, which is a bit unfortunate. They almost should like call it out easier. I don't know. And then the last one for me, this one's like the most embarrassing, and I almost left it off, but I again, it's this catharsis, this sort of a bit of therapy for me. I met a guy, started chatting to a guy on Discord, and he was trying to get rid of his Neymar card. I was super excited, and but I spent all my money, like I said, at lesson number 1. I'd already spent it all, so I was trying to like call my bank and get room on my credit card, and they were like, why are you spending all this money on this weird site and all this stuff? And I was like really kind of hassling with him, but I didn't want him to sell the card Neymar to anyone else. So he had this other one he was trying to sell, Brendan Aronson. And I said, listen, let me buy Aronson like at a premium as a way of like putting a deposit down for Neymar. And so he's like, okay, sure. And so sure enough, I did that, and you'll be able to see here. You'll see who I am. It's very obvious. So that's me right there. So when the price of the card was like down in the 0.2, 0.3, I went and gave him a full Ethereum for that card. And then he did hang around for a bit, and I tried to get the money, and then I was saying, I probably need another week or something. And he said he'd hold out, but then he went and sold the card to someone else and just disappeared off the face of the earth. And I felt so stupid. I felt like I should have known better. And sure enough, I'm sitting on this card now in like, at least he's a young guy. He's 21. If we look at his, say, US based value, it's it's not the highest price, which is nice, but then also like his price is starting to come up, and as he gets better and older, hopefully it gets up to the point so that I can at least break even. But that was a hard lesson. Like I said, felt very stupid. I hope you don't make that mistake. Definitely be careful just kind of throwing money around, even if you think it's a great deal. With that, I hope you enjoyed. Again, check out my course if you like, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks for watching.